Bisexuals of Reddit, especially those in straight relationships, have you ever been bullied or abused by LGBT people for not being gay enough? And what's your story? My husband and I are both bi. I'm out but he's not. His father figure, a gay man, told him that he would never date a bi man because he's nursed two men bi men back from failed straight relationships, only to have them switch and leave him for women. When my husband replied that he was bi, that was a very awkward moment. I mean, that does sound a little entitled and weird when you say nursed. Like, I'm not quite sure what your in-law partner's father figure means by it, but if he means he is friendly and supportive to people out of breakups and expects relationships in return, that's not healthy behavior. A few different gay people, specifically a few gold star lesbians, insisted on calling me straight. The time it peed me off most was right after I'd gotten out of a multi-year relationship with a woman. And I'm a woman. My heart was broken. I went to Pride with a gold star lesbian pal and a few genuinely straight people. The lesbian pal turned to me in front of the group and said, "Thanks for coming here to support me. You're a good straight ally." I'd literally been crying on her shoulder about my ex-girlfriend the week before. Anyway, I was so shocked she would call me straight that I couldn't come up with anything to say. We didn't really stay friends. Bisexual man. I've been railed on by both lesbians and gay men for not taking a side, not being honest about my sexuality. I said I was bi, they didn't believe it was possible, etc. How is the idea that I can find and enjoy both sexes a falsehood? Also, how is that persecution any different from what you hate straight people doing to you? Also, a bisexual male, the whole picking a side thing pisses me off. I can be attracted sexually or romantically to people male or female. I don't need to pick a dang side. I am not gay or straight. I am bi. Many people don't even know that I swing that way, because I usually don't talk about it unless I'm asked. I don't consider it that important to my identity that I'd feel need to hang out in the LGBT crowd or fly the bi flag or whatever. Still, as an outside observer, I've witnessed a lot of gatekeeping like this, and I feel that it will hurt their goals down the road. Bi girl here. I had one person straight up tell me that they hoped that my boyfriend would rape me so I could understand what lesbians go through every day. My boyfriend was P when I told him. Yes, I am bisexual, and besides lesbians on the After Ellen forum, where I first attempted to understand my orientation and the greater lifestyle bullying us for being untrustworthy, I have recently been fully aware of gay individuals posting things like that the bi should be removed and is not representative of the rest of the community because we may choose. Bisexual woman here, currently in a relationship with a woman. The two serious relationships I've had have been with lesbians, and they both have had serious insecurities about me cheating or leaving them for men. I've never cheated in my life, I'm not into polyamory, and I've never left someone for someone else. So it definitely hurts going into a relationship guilty until proven innocent. Maybe not bullied, but I have had lesbians straight up tell me they won't date me or give me a shot because I'm experimenting and not gay enough because I've only ever slept with men. I'm not going to apologize for taking 26 years to admit I like women after being bullied and mockingly called a lesbian all through middle school, high school, and college. Up until I started to come out to myself, everyone I met would ask me if I was gay, be shocked, and then continue to second guess me. Yeah, they were right, but now I'm not gay enough despite liking women. It's been a lose-lose situation my whole life. Bisexual woman. Bi erasure is a real problem inside and outside the LGBT community. I have a friend who was a leader in her college's gay alliance and was extremely friendly to the LGBT cause and identifies as queer. Call me straight on multiple occasions to the point where I had to remind her I literally came out to her first. I was also told I shouldn't go to Pride because I had a boyfriend, so that means I'm straight. What? Not related to the question, but straights love to erase bis as well. I went to see Bohemian Rhapsody with a friend and we were discussing the movie after. She kept calling Freddie Mercury gay even after I was like he was a pretty vocal bisexual. I finally snapped and got pissy and said, you know, bi men exist and aren't just gay men in disguise. Right? It's so frustrating to be ignored by your own community and by people who say they're forward thinking or progressive or whatever. A constant reminder why I didn't come out to my LGBTQ alliance. It's buttholes like these who even frick it up for those who are bi. Yeah, I was on the train on the way to Pride with my good friend. We were just chatting and he asked me if my parents or sister knew that I was bisexual. As I was responding, a very butch young lady piped up with, yeah, that's not a real thing. I was like 13 or 14 at the time and way too meek and inexperienced to stand up for myself, so I just shut up and let her talk. She continued on, you just have to pick. Don't worry, you're still young and confused. I'll never forget that moment. That was like 10 years ago now. Still not confused. Be woman here. There are just so many obnoxious myths about bisexuality. Women get accused of being straight and doing it for male attention. Men, and sometimes women, get accused of being gay and too afraid to fully come out. Both sexes get accused of going through phases. All of these people exist, but it doesn't mean that actual bisexuals don't also exist. And no, if I marry a man, I wasn't straight all along, and if I marry a woman, I wasn't gay all along. I will always be attracted to both sexes. I just meant one special person and chose them, just like gay and straight people do all the time. It really seems like male attraction is the default. B women equals straight women going through a phase and B men equals gay men going through a phase. There is definitely an air of sexism to it, too, as if women are for straight men and straight men only. A man who merely experiments with another man is out of the straight man club and therefore no longer allowed to be attracted to women. Women aren't allowed to be attracted to other women, and it's not a real relationship if there is no dong involved. It's weird, sexist, and wrong, and really reeks of entitlement from some straight men. Bisexuals are also no more likely to cheat than anyone else. We don't need one of each and are just as capable of being monogamous as a straight or gay person. Not that I have anything against polyamory as long as it's all good and consensual, but it's not a default among bi people. It really seems like male attraction is the default. B women equals straight women going through a phase and B men equals gay men going through a phase. I've heard it called the default to dong principle and a fallacy. A classmate in high school once said to me, you can't be bisexual if you have never slept with a man, and I replied, you didn't had a problem with me thinking I was straight even though I haven't slept with a woman either. I've never seen someone so quiet in my life. This is the kinda crap I'd think of saying 3 hours later. Yup, bisexual woman that has only ever dated men. Here, I don't need to date a woman to know that I am sexually attracted to her. Thanks. Bisexual woman here. My ex-girlfriend used to tell me that she thought it was disgusting I'd had sex with a man before. She said that I was lucky she loved me. She would brag about being a gold star lesbian and tell me that I was basically a lesbian now. I'm still pretty fricked up by that relationship 4 years later. I'm glad she's your ex. Sounds like she'd also tell you women can't be abusive, it's a man thing. But she definitely sounds textbook abusive. I'm bisexual. I married a man and a woman. I'm actively excluded from the LGBTQ community as a whole. If I try to participate in the conversation or any movement within the community, I'm told that I don't know the struggle since I married straight. I mean, I dated 4 women and 1 man, but obviously I have no idea what it's like to be gay. Not really bullied, but got some snide remarks from gay friends like, well, never thought you would go straight, in a disapproving tone. Also well-meaning older guy trying empathetically console me how hard it must be to not know if I like guys or girls, like it was a terrible tragedy, concluding that don't worry, you'll eventually figure it out. You're not really gay, you're just a straight person who wants to be different, huh? Really? I'm pretty sure I know more about bisexuality than you, Patricia. B woman. I'm afraid to tell people my sexuality because they always ask, you like having sex with women, and I have to explain that I have never slept with a woman, but I have always been attracted to them. Enjoy kissing and holding and cuddling and all the personality aspects about women as well. I've just never gotten to have sex, but suddenly that makes me just having a phase. A phase starting at birth and ending at death. My mom asked me if it's just a phase when I came out as bi and trans at 26. I wouldn't say I've been bullied, but I do remember an awkward conversation. One of my college friends at the time recently started going through some gender identity stuff and figuring themselves out, and now they go by different pronouns. And one time all of us in our friend group went to hang out and they were trying to ask me if I'd reconsider my label. They were implying that bisexual is transphobic and not liking people who are otherwise genderqueer, and were asking if pansexual would be a better term for me because it's somehow more inclusive. They were basically saying I'm discriminatory if I keep using the word bi instead of pan. It was pretty weird, but I still held on to bisexual. I feel it describes me better. I honestly think there isn't much of a difference. Bi means being attracted to those who are the same gender as you and those who are a different gender than you. Pan means attraction regardless of gender. Sounds pretty close to me. The semantics and assertion that one is somehow discriminatory is pretty bulls. Just let people like who they like. We're all queer here in this community. No one is inherently better on the basis of what degree of sexual attraction they feel. Other than that, there's not really any bullying, just ignorance from some straight people. I came out about 2 years before I'd ever done anything sexual with a girl. Heck, I was still a virgin, period. Never went further than making out. Hadn't even been topless around anyone when I came out at 18/19. And some people always seem to think that you need to have physical experience before you can say what you are. By that logic, everyone is born and is by default asexual until they frick someone. Never mind that I've felt attraction to boys and girls since puberty. The fact that I was still a virgin somehow made me straight by default or be curious. When people bring up the bi-pan thing, I say that how I feel can be identified as both. I just like the bi flag better. Every straight relationship I am in, my mother decides to tell me, "Oh good, you got over the girl thing." Like nope, still like vagina, just with dong now. My first relationship with a woman wasn't a very positive one, and when we broke up mum said it was a sign that I just wasn't meant to date girls. She did this twice more, then she pulled her head out of her butt. Those relationships ended, not because I wasn't meant to date girls, but because I wasn't meant to date that specific girl. I got slapped in the face by a lesbian at Pride because I was bi and bringing shame to the LGBT community. Yep, she decided that there shouldn't be a bi in there because we're fake. I've been told bi now, gay later, as a way to say that I'm too scared to fully come out. Also that I'm just saying it for attention from men. Never mind that I lived with my ex-girlfriend at the time. I got slapped in the face. Never mind the casual assault. Yeah, I've heard a lot of gay women talk about how they wouldn't date bisexual women because they're actually straight or whatever bulls. People see bi women as straight and bi guys as gay. Like, dong, ain't that amazing? We aren't lying. I'm a bi girl and I've only ever been with guys. I had a couple lesbian friends who were very anti-men ask me questions about my boyfriend. But don't you feel that sucking his dong is a form of degradation, etc.? They were trying to get me to become completely gay basically, or pointing out girls they found good looking to get me to agree. I'm a bit more straight than gay, and the girls I find attractive are usually a very specific kind. So quit trying to change my sexuality. Oh, and I have straight friends as well that are saying, since I've been with this guy, how can you believe you thought you were bisexual? Hello, I still am. Bi girl here. Had relationships, one night stands, FWB, with men and women. Married to a man. I've had people say I pretend to like women for attention, that I just needed the right guy and dong to get over the phase. I had a guy follow me home from a gay club who said he was gonna show me what a real man was to fix me. Had people assume that the only type of sex I want is threesomes. The list goes on. Number. I'm a bisexual woman who has dated men and women. Currently in a long-term relationship with a man. I have several very close lesbian friends and none have ever tried to make me feel bad, less or whatever. I was also the president of my college's LGBT group and no one ever seemed upset about it. I don't want to deny anyone's experiences, but I also don't want younger bisexual people to think they're automatically hated by other members of the LGBT community. It's fun being bisexual, and it's fun to have bisexual friends. It's fun to have gay and lesbian friends too. And even straight friends. I don't know if this counts, but I'm asexual, and people give us so much crap about it. They assume I'm molested, I'm just abstinent, that I am secretly gay, or that I just need to get dong or whatever. Some people get very rude about it. Yeah, I identified as asexual for a while, now confused grey ace. And when I came out to my best friend at the time, she told me she didn't see how that could be a thing. I felt like a 100-pound sack of bricks landed on my chest. Like, it freaking hurts so bad when your best friend tells you a part of you isn't a thing. Lesbian girls never really want Ed to date me because I'd leave them for a guy anyway. My sexuality has been questioned by gay and straight people alike. Not my story but that of my BF. He was in a relationship with a guy for a while. This guy kept asking him when he'd turn fully gay. Number. Oh man, yes, from both men and women. For the gay guys, it's usually that I'm just out there for head privilege, like I'm secretly gay but dating women for like, status or something. From straight women, there's a huge fear of infidelity, like, if I'm going to cheat, it's because I'm a cheating scumbag, not because I'm bi. Then, there's the times when I'm dating a girl and I've been told or made to feel like I don't belong in LGBTQ+ spaces, like, the B stands for bisexual. I'm totes part of this dang community. I'm a bisexual teen, male, and I've actually faced a lot more direct anger from people than expected. I'm like a weird middle ground between flamboyant and very serious and straight, pun not intended. So both straights and gays tend to find me a little off. A lot of gay guys I've met have been especially big dongs to me because they assume I'm gay just for attention. I've only dated women before, so that also helps give them a reason to hate on me. 100% gay man here. First and deepest love was B and I just never got over the feeling he'd one day go back to women or have a fling with a lady. It was part of what ended our relationship and it still hurts so many years later. I resented him for it then and regret it now. I teased him and prodded for him to admit he was cheating on me with a woman. You cannot change a leopard's spots and I tried but failed miserably. What I'm trying to say is that when you're with someone, be with them in that moment of your lives and love each other. Don't panic over the unknown or try to change someone to suit your future. If they are with you it's because they are into you. So how gay do you have to be considered gay? Also how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Be woman here. The weirdness I've experienced is from straight chicks not really LGBT. Like I'll mention it because I'm not ashamed and they get all weird like I'm going to hit on them or be creepy. Chick, you aren't my type, I'm very married to a man and a mother. Sure. Years ago I had a co-worker, absolutely gorgeous and full of herself. She found out I liked girls she was all don't go falling in love with me teehee. I told her not to worry because she totally wasn't my type, she believed she was everyone's type, and it was like I slapped her. It's been sad gatekeeper behavior mostly. I've been warned away from cute women at events because I have many more options. I've been told I don't count because coming out has always been my choice and not something I've had to do. I'm not bi, gay dude, but all of the men I've dated are bi and they would sometimes talk to me about the bi erasure they'd feel going into gay bars and sometimes just in discussion with gay men. It's not like these big, grand stories of being bullied, it's more like these weird, passive-aggressive, offhand comments about their sexuality. And the community isn't just weirdly gross towards bi people, they're the same way about trans people. Bi woman. Recently started dating a bi guy and you know what, I sort of get it now. Not the accusation thing, but the preference for dating not bis. It's just sort of nice to have sexuality in common with your partner, since it's a part of who you are. I like being able to point out cute girls to my boyfriend and I like when he talks about sexy men. Dating a straight or gay person, there's a feeling of being different, which isn't to say mixed relationships have anything wrong or lacking, but it's a super cozy bonus. If I were gay I'd probably feel an even bigger disconnect from culture at large, so it would be nice to connect with my partner in that way. With a bi partner for a gay person, it's not possible to feel that, neither is his connectness. It's nice to be with someone who understands. For a bi person, I'd feel that lack of connection because I wouldn't get it. I know straight partners don't understand my perspective. It's the same thing. I feel like bi people don't get the disconnect that gay people do from mainstream culture, only the exclusion, and even more erasing. There are all different things. Again, it's not like a compatibility leg up on any sort of personal level, but it is nice. I can understand wanting it. At the end of the day, no one else walks the same road as you, but having commonalities are very attractive. BM here. I literally got kicked out of my high school's LGBTQ+ awareness club. That's basically an allegory for my experience in the LGBTQ+ community as a bi guy. Same. It's the same for women too. I've dated several bi women and we've discussed this. I feel like totally gay men or lesbian women want to feel like they're some part of some special club, and seem to get mad when people like us bis say relationships are just between two or more people, regardless of anything else. As a 40-something gay woman, I think two factors contributed to lesbians being bi shy: time period and biology. Time period. In the late 80s early 90s, being openly gay still meant almost guaranteed rejection from family, losing promotions at work or having to be closeted and oddly sexless, and extreme fear around AIDS, etc. The gay community was more of a refuge or escape, or just a place to find others like you since you couldn't really in your normal life. A bi woman was viewed with wariness because she could theoretically leave the struggle and homophobia and gain all the perks gay people were being denied at the time. She could bring her boyfriend to the Christmas party and put his picture on her desk. She could get married. She could make out in public. These sound dumb or unbelievable today, but when you're locked out of basic things like that or have to debate risking an attempt at something like that and the very real backlash at the time, it made complete sense that they'd choose the nicer path. If anything, it was like rejecting your own way of life to think that way, which still makes me sad. Biology. The other part is biology. From college to early mid-20s, a lot of bi women had relationships with other women, but many married and had kids. Again, gay adoption and legal rights for same-sex parents was barely on the horizon, and if you were bi, it was definitely a chance to have a family and so on if you moved to relationships with men. Almost every lesbian movie from the era had the girl leave for a man and then staring wistfully out the window while her children played. Today is a whole new ballgame. We can marry, have kids, legally adopt kids, in most places, live openly in straight communities, be out at work, etc. So I'm hoping that the bi-phobia has also faded. I never saw it as a hatred towards bi women, but more of an understanding that they had more choices back then, and for those in the trenches, it created wariness to fully embrace them. Today my so is bi and it was hard for me at first, but it's not worth it to cling to the issues of my past any longer, so I'll let go, and we even got married. As a younger bi person, who, I admit, lives somewhere rather more tolerant than the USA, I can happily say that I've never experienced as much biphobia as many people seem to claim. I can only hope it's representative. Bi man. All I get from gay guys is that I'm not really gay, I just like the idea of being gay. All I get from straight guys, all I get is that I don't want to admit that I'm really gay. It's statistically more likely to end up in a straight relationship. It's hard to find other people in your gender who you are attracted to, who is attracted to your gender, and to you personally, and most gay lesbians won't date bisexuals anyway, where almost every interaction you have with the opposite gender could be considered flirting if you're too friendly. My female friends have shown me their nudes, say explicit sexual things each other, and are straight. A girl could tell me she wants to eat me raw every night for the rest of her life and it would be considered a friendly compliment. So yet almost every other bisexual I know is in a straight relationship, and the rest of the LGBT community take that as bisexuals are faking it. I think this is where 90% of the biphobia comes from. They just see us as straights with a kink. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.